Good morning. This is Malik, your financial emancipator. And so I wanted to talk and do a video today about something that comes up when you deal with finances that most people don't really want to talk about. And that's something that comes up is owing money. So I have 5 ways that you walk towards financial emancipation. And the third way is to honor your debts. And that is referring to debts that you owe to companies as well as debts that you owe to people. So just to quickly go about what the debts you owe to companies, a lot of people, they really take on debt and then get frustrated by the fact that they have to pay it back. You can in no way can you find your way to financial freedom if you disregard the debt that you incur. If you don't pay your bills and you don't pay your debt, you will remain in financial bondage. You will not get free because you cannot escape the debt that you incur. And even when you think that you can, you have to sacrifice so much to escape that. So you should as well honor your debts, always, the ones you have to companies. You should pay your credit card bills. You should pay any debts that you have, because that's also a good way you put good energy into the universe. Someone, a company, lent you money, and yes, they charge you an exorbitant amount of interest on it, and they're making all the money. That was your choice. You got into it. You need to pay it back. And whichever way you need to do that, that's something that's really important. But there's a second part to honoring your debts, and that's to honoring the debt that you owe to other people. And what I find is that when people start running down a list of things they need to do on their finances, they often forget the money that they owe to people. And it's not. It's shitty to not pay people back money that you owe them. So if someone lends you money for a reason because if someone had to lend you money, you needed it. You asked for it, or you made a position or a scenario known that you needed money, and they lent it to you for whatever reason they chose to be generous with you. There are a few things that you cannot do when people give you money. You cannot assume they don't need their money back. If someone lends you money, you need to pay them back. I don't care if you see them on 10 vacations. I don't care if you see them with 10 bags. I don't care if you see them laying in a bed of money. If they gave you money and the agreement that you guys came up with when they gave you that money was that you were going to pay it back, you should pay it back. You should pay it back when you say you were going to pay it back. And if you are unable to pay the money back, you should speak to that person and make a conscious decision about how you're going to make the repayment. You should never, ever, ever assume that a person who lent you money does not need their money back, no matter what you perceive about their lifestyle and their finances. That is none of your business. You need to make sure you give a person back their money if they lend it to you. The other thing is that if you fall upon hard times, to further that point, if you've already been on hard times and you need someone to lend you money, sometimes it takes a while to bounce back to the point where you can pay that money back. If you had an agreed upon time to pay the money back and you can't do that, again, you should reach out to that person and then renegotiate a payback. But what you should also do is being honest about what you can and cannot do. But you should prioritize paying back another person. A person was able to lend you money. No matter what happens, you should prioritize paying back that money. It puts good energy into the universe. If you're ever in a situation again where you need to borrow money from that person or any person, you've kind of got good credit out in the world, and someone will be willing to help you out again if that's necessary. You do not ever want to be a person who someone could hear you're in hard times and not want to give you money because they know you don't pay it back. On the flip side, if you are a person who has been asked for money, keep a few things in mind. If a person has to come to you and ask you for money, most situations, not those people who just ask all the time, but for most people, that's a very challenging situation to be in. It messes with your pride. It makes you feel all kinds of ways. So if a person has to come to you and ask you for money, don't belittle them. Don't berate them. Don't be an asshole about it. If you can do it, say sure and offer the money up. Offer it up in your mind with a plan that how it's going to get paid back in an agreed upon statement, but also knowing you should never give away more money than you can afford to give away. You should never lend someone more money than you can afford to lose. So if someone asks you for $500 and you've got $500 somewhere that you can let go of, knowing that that's a possibility, that's the only time you should give it away. If that $500 is sitting there for your rent, don't give that money away. Don't get nobody that money because you need it. So don't do that. Also, if you're going to give money to a person with a whole bunch of emotions attached to it, like if they can't pay it back when they say they're going to pay it back, you're going to want to blow up the friendship or the relationship, don't do it. Because money is not a reason. Money's not a good enough reason to ruin a relationship. So if you're on the other side of it, first of all, understand that that person is going through something challenging. And so the fact that they even had to come ask you is putting them in a really shitty position. So understand that you should really just, if you have to say no, say no. And be okay saying no. And one of my rules about saying no to things is I don't lie to people. If a person asks me to borrow money and I don't want to give it to them, I do not lie to them and say I don't have it. That's my choice, because I don't want to lie about it. Because also, two people, you tell somebody you don't have it, that same person watching you do something else, then they feeling a way about it. It's unnecessary. Instead of saying I don't have it, I say that's not something I can do right now. That's the truth. Now, what that means, how they interpret that, that's on them. But I say that's not something I can do right now. And I also wish them well. I say that's not something I can do right now, but I hope everything works out for you. That's a way to say, hey, I'm not trying to wish you nothing bad, and I'm not trying to, but I can't help you out here. Because I'm not in the business, I'm not a bank, I'm not in the business of lending money. It doesn't benefit me to lend money. I don't charge people interest. So if it's not something I want to do, I just say I can't do that. It's not something I can do right now. The reason I choose not to lie and say I don't have it, that's a lie. And who needs to lie to people? I don't need to lie to anybody else. If I don't want to give you my money, I don't have to lie to you about it and say I don't have it. I say it's just not something I can do right now. But just keep in mind that dialogue, that conversation. Any of us can be sitting on any side of that as far as lending money in between people or needing money. But again, you should never give away money you can't afford to lose. You should always honor your debts. If someone lends you money, you need to pay it back upon the agreed upon time. Do not be that person who gets a lump sum of money, you get your tax return, and you don't pay back the person who you owe money to. And please don't be that person that acts like you forgot that somebody lent you $500, $600, $1,000. Let's not do that. Okay? Don't have your name dirt in the street because you can't honor the debts. It's not right, and it will come back to you. And there's no road to financial freedom that you can walk through that includes you dishonoring your debts and acting like you don't owe people money.